Welcome to Human Services Stories, Management, Customer, and Staff Voices. I'm Clinton Lewis, and I'm glad you're here. Today's episode is about the Human Services customer. The person who walks into the office, the person who calls the helpline, the person who sits in the waiting room with a stack of papers and a lot of questions, the person who's trying to navigate a system that can feel confusing, overwhelming, and sometimes even intimidating. This episode is for them and for the staff and leaders who serve them every day. Who is a human services customer? The human services customer is not a case number. They're not a file. They're not a problem to be solved. They're a person with a story, a family. They have hopes, fears, and a lot on the line. They may be a parent trying to keep their children safe in the house and in the household. A person with a disability seeking support and stability. An older adult trying to age with dignity and independence. A youth aging out of foster care and figuring out life on their own. Or a family navigating food assistance, healthcare, and income supports. Behind every appointment, every application, every interaction is a human being who is doing their best in a complicated moment in life. What are they carrying? Many customers walk in carrying more than what we can see. For instance, they may be carrying stress about rent, utilities, food, fear of losing custody of their children, shame of needing help in the first place, grief from loss, trauma, years of instability, frustration from being told no. So many times they expect it again. Some customers are polite and grateful. Some are angry and defensive. Some are quiet and withdrawn. Some are loud and demanding. All of them are trying to meet a need, protect someone they love, or find a way forward. When you understand what they are carrying, it changes how you see their behavior. It changes how you respond. What do they need from the system? At the core of human service, customers needs a few basic things. They need clarity. They need to understand what is happening, what to expect of them, and what is coming next. They need plain language, not jargon. They need steps that make sense, not hidden rules. They need respect. They need to be spoken to like human beings, not like problems. They need to feel seen and even and heard, even when the answer is not what they hope for. And they need consistency. They need to know what they're being told, what they were told yesterday will still be true today. And they need staff who follow through, call back when promised, and keep their word. They also need support, not just rules. They need someone who can help them navigate forms, deadlines, and requirements. And they need guidance, not just gatekeeping. And they also need hope. They need to believe that their effort can lead to change. They need to see that the system is designed to help them move forward, not just processing. What does good service look like from their side? From the customer's perspective, good service is often looks simple, even if it's not easy to deliver. Good service looks like being greeted with a calm, respectful tone, having someone explain what is happening in clear words, being given realistic timelines, and then being updated if things change, feeling like their story matters, not just paperwork, and leaving the interaction knowing what to do next. Customers remember how they were treated, they remember who listened, they remember who made them feel like a person instead of just a case. They also remember who rushed them, talked down to them, or made them feel like a burden. Those memories shape how they engage the system, and within the system within the future. Here are some of the barriers that customers may face. It is important to name the barriers that customers face when they're trying to access services. Some barriers are practical: transportation problems, childcare challenges, work schedules that conflict with office hours, limited access to phones, internet, or printers, forms that are long, confusing, or written in a complex language. Some barriers are emotional. For example, fear of being judged, past experiences of being treated poorly by systems, anxiety about not having the right documents, worrying that one mistake will cost them everything, and some barriers are systemic. Long wait times for appointments or decisions, frequent staff changes so they have to tell their story over and over again, policies that are hard to understand or seem contradictory, and requirements that are difficult to meet when someone is in crisis. When you see these barriers clearly, you can start to think about how to reduce them, even in small ways. This is how staff can make a difference. You cannot fix your entire system on your own, but you can change the experiences a customer has with you. And that matters more than you realize. Staff can make a difference by listening first, letting the customer tell their story before jumping into forms or rules, using plain language, avoid jargon, explain steps in simple and clear terms, setting realistic expectations, be honest about timelines, limits, and what you can and cannot do. Follow through. If you say you will call, then call. If you say you will check on something, check and report back. And treatment of people with dignity. Speak respectfully even when you're busy, stressed, or frustrated. Small actions can have a calm voice, a clear expectation, or a clear explanation, a follow-up call. These things can change someone's day and sometimes their trajectory. What customers and leaders want leaders to know. Leaders may not see every customer's interaction, but the customers feel the impact of leadership's decisions. Customers want leaders to know that they want policies that are clear and fair, not confusing and punitive. They want staff who are supported, trained, and not consistently burned out. They want processes that make sense from their perspective, not just from the agency's side. They want to feel like partners in their own progress, like obstacles being managed. When leaders design systems with customers in mind, the work becomes more effective for everyone. Staff feel more successful, customers feel more supported, and outcomes improve. We have to share the stories of progress. It is also important to remember that customers are not just struggling. They're also growing, learning, and achieving. Many customers complete parenting programs and rebuild relationships with their children, find stable housing after periods of homelessness, gain employment, and move forward with financial independence, learn to manage health conditions with better support, advocate for themselves and their families in ways that they have never thought possible. And these stories matter. They remind us that the work is not just crisis management, it's about long-term change. When staff and leaders keep these stories in mind, they help them stay connected to the purpose of the work. And this is a message to human services customer. If you're listening and you're a customer of human services, I want to speak directly to you for a moment. You're not defined by your hardest season. You're not, or your worst day. You're not the labels that people may have used for you in the past. You remember you're a person with value, worth, and potential. You're someone who is trying to make things better for themselves and for the family and for the future. It's not okay. It is okay to ask for help. It is okay not to know all of the answers. It's okay to need support while you get back on your feet. Remember, your effort matters, your progress matters, and your story matters. And you deserve to be treated with respect, clarity, and care every time you interact with the system. I'd like to have a brief message for staff and leaders. If you're listening and you work in human services, I want to speak with you as well. You have to remember you're part of someone's story. The way you show up, the words you use, the follow through you offer, these things leave an imprint. When you treat customers with dignity, you help them restore their trust in the system. When you explain things clearly, you reduce their fear and confusion. When you follow through, you show them that not everyone will let them down. You may not see the full impact of your work today, but someone somewhere is building a better life because you showed up with skill, patience, and care. Now, here's a coaching moment for this episode. I want you to ask yourself, how would I describe the human services customer in my own words? What barrier might my customers be facing that I not always see? What is the one thing I can do this week to make a customer's experience clearer and easier? And how can I bring more respect, clarity, and consistency to my interactions? And what story of a customer's progress can I hold on to when the work feels heavy? Then say this to yourself. I will see the person behind the case. I will treat every customer with dignity, clarity, and care. My closing moment for this episode: the human services customer is not a number. They are a neighbor, a parent, a youth, an older adult, or a person trying to move forward. They deserve a system that is clear, respectful, and consistent. They deserve staff and leaders who see them, hear them, and walk with them towards progress. Hold this truth close. Your word touches and real lives. Every interaction you have is an opportunity to offer clarity, dignity, and hope. And remember, you got this.